Welcome to Beyond the Main podcast. We're here at JSerra. We are more than just a school. We are more than teachers, coaches, and administrators. We are a community striving together to grow in faith, intellect, and character. Each episode, we will talk to a member of the JSerra community and get a deeper look of who they are as individuals and their expertise in their field. Thanks for joining us, and if you can, please like and subscribe. Welcome, everybody, to Beyond the Main, Episode 3. I am your host, Russell Abdulla, and I am joined with a very seasoned veteran, Olivia Huie, Director of Counseling. Olivia, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me here today, Russ. I appreciate it.
So, Olivia, you've had a very interesting year, and we're going to dive into all of the highlights. But first, you and your family we're in South Bend, yeah?
Yeah. We actually just went back to South Bend for Labor Day weekend. We had it as a plan to take our kids to their first Notre Dame game. My husband,
special.
My husband went there and worked there. So did his father and his 3 other siblings. So Notre Dame runs deep in our family.
Which totally overrides the UCI.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. When I first met him, I was like, what is this thing? And now I'm hooked.
This culture.
Yeah, exactly. So, we took the boys. Actually, we have family in Chicago. So we drove over to Notre Dame when had his whole family there.
Oh, nice.
And our niece goes there. And it was great. I mean, we ended up seeing the team march in. The kids got to high-five the entire team when they marched in. Yeah, and just a lot of tradition and lore. And my husband in particular was very excited to show the kids, everything that, he loved about his experience there. So it was fun, and it was a big win.
Yeah, they crushed them, right?
They crushed. Yeah. It was Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
And when I asked my kids what the highlight was of the whole experience, they said the opposing band. And apparently the opposing band is a Grammy Award-winning band.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, they were
how random.
Spectacular. So
very cool.
Yeah, it was good.
And are they, I know they play baseball. I've noticed your car out there with the All-Star.
Yes. And the chalk, paint and everything like that for All-Star games. Yeah. So both kids play baseball. They're currently on a travel team now. They've actually done Coach K's camp every summer since, my oldest is now 11, since he was 5.
Oh, wow.
So they've been coming here every summer.
And trained the right way.
Yes, and trained the right way for sure. Yeah, so they really, really love the game.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Do you think they have any kind of desire to get into football or anything like that? Or
we make them play all sorts of stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so my younger son, he's kind of a bull in a china shop. Like, he can probably play some padded football, but they've played flag football.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's so funny. I actually, my 3-year-old son, 3 years old, we're watching football, and he notices I have my old college helmet in my garage, and he goes, "Dad, can I wear your helmet?" And he puts this thing on, man, and he is just running around the house, banging into the walls.
That's our boys
special.
too. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so for our viewers out there and who have been kind of following us the past couple of episodes, our goal here is to really just show what is going on at JSerra. There's a lot more than what just meets the eye. That we have, people that have stories and deep personal lives that nobody really gets to share or hear, but then also have a very, knowledgeable expertise in their field. And so, Olivia, we want to kind of get both from you today, and we're going to start off with a little bit about who you are and what you've gone through. And when I first kind of heard about this, I just remember in the chapel praying for you, and we got the email and heard. So I'm going to let you kind of take the show here and tell our viewers what you've recently kind of gone through.
Yeah, well, thank you, Russ. Yeah, it was quite the journey for sure. And back in August of last year, I noticed something wasn't feeling right.
Yeah.
And so I went to the doctor right away, and they ordered a mammogram. I hadn't had one since pre-COVID, and, we were busy doing other things during COVID, like,
Panicking about other stuff.
Panicking about other stuff, wiping down every single item that we bought at the grocery store, So,
loading up on toilet paper.
Oh, yes, all the things, right? So it wasn't on the top of my head in terms of my health and doctor's appointments.
Right.
So ordered that and, took quite a bit of time. The medical system is not always as efficient as we'd like it to be. So in November, they finally said, we need to do a biopsy just to make sure that, it's nothing. It's probably nothing. It's fine. Now, mind you, I have had cancer before. I actually was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma when I was 21.
Oh, wow. So this isn't the first time. This isn't the first rodeo for Olivia.
No. And so when I was going through this, I have a heightened awareness of like, okay, something doesn't feel right. Right. So
at the age of 21.
Yeah, I was 21. Wow. I was a junior at UC Irvine.
Okay.
And same thing, kind of felt something that didn't feel right. Anyway, that they found, I had cancer then. I went through pretty rigorous treatment. I went through chemotherapy, radiation therapy. Some crazy stuff in terms of just treatment. And I was home for about a good year. Came back and graduated and
knocked it out.
Knocked it out, studied abroad.
Right.
That was what I wanted to do. And I studied in Italy. Anyway, fast forward to November. So, I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is now 20 plus years that has gone by, even though I'm only 31.
I love it.
So, I'm like, it can't be that. So, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, maybe it could be something. So anyway, they did the biopsy and I brought my husband to the room. I made him come with me and, we're like waiting for the doctor to come in. We're playing with the tools in there, just, weighing ourselves, doing, funny things because we're just like, it can't be.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine. He was like, it's not going to be a problem. And the radiologist came in and said it was cancer.
Oh, wow.
So, I was obviously super devastated. I had already gone through a long bout. I thought I was in the clear.
I can't even imagine what I would be thinking. Having already done this before and being like, you have got, like, Lord, are you serious?
Yes. And actually, I had said that in my head. Like, you got to be kidding me right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went through, some treatment for it. They had a major surgery. I actually worked until December here at JSerra, and I took January off thinking, I'm only going to be out for a couple months. I went through what's called a double mastectomy. So getting graphic, they removed both breasts and because the cancer was likely to come back. And the reason the cancer was likely to come back is because from my first treatment, I actually had a lot of radiation treatment and radiation to my chest because they had found a tumor that was about the size of a grapefruit in my chest.
And is that linked to the previous cancer, you think, at all?
So, yes.
Did I jump the gun there?
Okay. For sure. It totally was. Radiation can cause cancer.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And so even though it was life-saving, it caused cancer later down the road in terms of having breast cancer. I did the genetics testing. There's nothing in my family, not even lymphoma. Nothing was tied to genetics. It was definitely directly related to the radiation treatment.
And was there like a type of, I'm just thinking maybe a little bit of confidence though, just saying, okay, I've gone through this dark road before. I can take anything on. Is there a little bit of that?
A little bit of that, for sure. Like I already knew what was coming. I didn't know that I had to do chemotherapy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I thought I was only going to be gone for 2 months. I even told my team, my students, my parents, here at JSerra, I'll be back in no time, just going to go through the surgery, no sweat. Yeah. And when they did what's called an oncotype, they have to test the tumor. They came back with, it's a very rigorous tumor. It's aggressive, and the likelihood of it coming back is really high for you. So you have to do chemotherapy. And that's what really got to me, because the chemotherapy, it's one thing to be sick, but to go through chemo, it totally changes the way you look. So people kind of see that you're sick, right? And when I was 21, I'm a woman, I feel like, okay, looks are kind of important, right? Especially when you're young.
Especially when you're young.
I mean, now too, that how you present yourself to the world can be, it's a part of, who you are sometimes, right? So I just felt like, oh no, it's going to change the way I look. And that made me really sad. And I had a supportive family, and, I'm like, well, I'm just going to, I thought about what's called cold capping, trying to save my hair and basically freeze my head the whole time I'm doing chemo. So almost 6 to 7 hours. And I just thought, Lord, it's fine. I can deal. I've dealt with it before. I'll just get a really awesome wig, really beautiful one. And what's interesting at the time that I found out, I had cancer, which was, my family, my husband's family was very supportive. My family was very supportive. Everybody was great. My sister-in-law, who's exactly my age, when I was telling her, I haven't gone to see I haven't gone to get a mammogram and whatnot. She was my age, so I'm 44. Right. And she was like, I've never gotten one before. I'm like, Eileen, you need to go and get one. And she actually found out she had breast cancer.
No
too,
way. Oh my gosh.
At the same exact time.
Wow.
So because of me, telling her, kind of guilting her, you need to go and get this done, after 40, this is standard procedure. She had to go through a single mastectomy.
Oh, wow.
At the same time as me.
So is there some kind of, you spoke about support, but I can only imagine you guys both doing this together. And
yeah, she's in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we did, we supported each other through calls. We kept texting, calling each other, checking in on one another. Yeah. Her mom, my mother-in-law, stayed with us for 3 weeks. And then right after she left our place, she went home for a little bit and then went to Eileen's house in Madison to take care of her. So wow, my mother-in-law is a saint.
A saint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, she's
very
amazing.
Generous.
I don't think we could have gotten through it without her help. Yeah.
And so, okay, so we're going through chemo. Tell me a little bit more how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, so I had to do 4 rounds of chemo. Okay. So I extended my leave just because I was immunocompromised. Chemotherapy makes you extremely exhausted. There's a lot of side effects to that. So, I had to do it every, I think, 3 weeks. And I finished on May 1. I got through it pretty well. They gave me lots of meds. My initial time going through cancer, I had to do a pretty intensive chemotherapy called adriamycin. Okay. And they call this the Red Devil. This is the nickname for this
you excited.
drug.
Yeah. Oh
and it's literally red, and it just destroys your body. You just go through a lot. So
you're just exhausted. It's painful.
It's all the things.
Yeah,
I had to do blood transfusions. My platelet levels were low. It just kind of, it kills the chemotherapy doesn't distinguish between cancerous cells or normal cells. It kills everything that multiplies. Yeah. So hair, that's why you lose your hair, your nail, anything that grows quickly, which is cancer cells, but it doesn't distinguish, right? Yeah. So my oncologist now said, how many times did you go through that? I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, well, we can't put you on. I need to put you on that, but I'm not going to put you on that because there's only so much you can have in your lifetime before it causes a heart attack or whatnot. Jeez. So she put me on a lower level chemotherapy. So I was able to tolerate it okay, but I was pretty exhausted. So it was helpful to be home because I have 2 little boys that, just need me. And whatever, Mom, I don't care that you're tired. I need something. Olivia, they're 11 and 8.
Yeah, you're totally, my wife's going to kill me. It's so funny because I'm thinking about my family. And when my wife just recently had COVID for the second time. And I'm just like, it's crazy. Yeah. I can't even imagine you're going through running a family, a young family. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh.
Well, I have an incredible husband.
Oh,
He's
good.
amazing. Like, he is also a saint.
I'm a decent husband, by
Yeah.
the way.
I'm sure you are. But he's really stepped it up. I mean, he helped with the kids. He did everything for, I mean, we wanted them to have a normal life, right?
Sure.
Still go to baseball, still go to their activities, still hang out with friends. So he really stepped up and did a lot for us. Yeah. And even like took the kids out so I can sleep and rest. So he was amazing. He did a lot. He even administered my IV medication when I needed it. You know, I couldn't really lift things after surgery, or do much. So he did quite a bit. I mean, talk about in sickness and in health.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's a great. I'm glad you said
and
that. Yeah.
this was our in sickness and good times and bad. You
guys persevered. I love that.
We did. Yeah. So it really did strengthen our relationship, and that was one of the positives.
Sure.
One of the many positives that came out of the suffering I had to go through.
And I want to touch base on that, but first, again, okay, so you're getting a lower dosage, and you're starting to kind of come back now, and go ahead.
Yeah. So I with this type of breast cancer, and most women will know this that have gone through this, you have to do what's called anti-estrogen or anti-hormone drugs, just because estrogen does contribute to the cancer. So I had to get on this anti-hormone drug, which actually my oncologist offset the lower dosage of the chemo with this medication, and that was actually harder than the chemo. And it was the physical aspect of the chemotherapy I could handle. The anti-hormone drugs messes with your mood and your mental state. So that is much harder, because mind over matter you can do.
Sure.
Matter over mind is harder.
And
right?
even more credibility to your husband.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, my oncologist even told him, just be ready.
Yeah.
It just messes with the mood but I was, just full disclosure, I was super, super depressed. And I knew it wasn't normal.
I mean, who wouldn't be, right? Like what you're going through.
Well, I'm pretty happy-go-lucky. Most people know me, I'm pretty positive, happy, and joyful. And this was definitely a big change. It wasn't just I was depressed because of the situation.
I see.
It literally changed some chemicals in my brain to make me feel super depressed. So it was a real thing. It was a real struggle. But I came back to JSerra in the summer, kind of eased my way back in, did a little bit of part-time work, and the school has been really supportive and great. And the prayers from everybody, all the families have been wonderful, just like I've been praying for you, all the faculty and staff, and just everybody has been just really, really supportive. So that's what's, really helped. And now I'm back full time. And
good.
Yeah, and I love seeing the students. The students have been just my why of being here. I love being able to work with them and, see them grow, and
they keep you going.
They do. Yeah. I really enjoy the students here. I love them.
Yeah. It's hopefully why we're all here, really.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I often do this. I often put my theology cap on. Our listeners know this. You have gone, for lack of a better word, hell and back, not only physically, but mentally, psychologically, spiritually. How does this not make you look up to the heavens and say, I'm done? Like, why are you letting this happen to me? How does this not become inward, bitter resentment? And from what it looks like, you're a pretty happy person today and still faithful. And how?
Well, I would say the first time I went through it, at 21, my faith wasn't as strong back then, but I did. My parents' faith they were really strong. They prayed the rosary every day. They had healing masses for me, and had people in the Philippines praying. All the
nuns
an army.
There,
an army of prayer warriors.
Yeah.
And I did. I thought, like, what did I do to deserve this? I mean, I think that's a normal response to when some tragedy or something bad happens in your life. Like, I feel like I'm a good person. Why do bad things happen to good people? I mean, all of that is normal to feel, right? And I remember very vividly when I was at home, just kind of going through this and being sad. And mind you, there wasn't social media, real ways to stay connected. So people thought I died. Like, when I came back to school, they're like, "Oh, I thought you had died." I'm like, "Thanks a lot for checking in on me, jerk."
Yeah. You check on that person.
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
You're done. You're on the bad list.
Right. So I remember picking up a pamphlet, just one of those pamphlets of like surrendering to Jesus, and I remember reading that, and I was bitter, I was angry, I was sad, and then I read that, and I remember even writing in my journal then, like, I'm at peace. Just that one sentence, surrender to God, and I felt a peace about what I was going through, like, whatever, it's in your hands, like, I have no control. So it brought a lot of that. And so I think I leaned on that this time around, and my faith is much stronger now, of like, there's, there may not be a real, good reason, I don't know, but it's happening to me, and I'm going to look for the good.
Right.
And it brought me a lot of times of reflection this time around. Like, I went to daily mass before I went through surgery, and I wasn't able to do that because I have to be here, and I had kids that I had to, help out in the morning. So before I went through surgery, I was at daily mass. I exercised, did yoga, meditated, prayed, journaled, did the rosary, and so really almost like that, like preparing for battle kind of thing. I did kind of do that for my own spirituality to strengthen that before I had to go through, what I had to go through. And I just noticed so much good that came out of it. It helped people pray that probably don't pray, actually know that don't pray. Here at school especially, like, I don't really pray, but I'm going to pray for you. And I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, God using a greater good there. Yeah.
Correct, and people that I hadn't seen in a long time coming through and seeing, checking in on me, people on social media really, being moved by my story and saying, like, thank you, for being who you are, and, I'm thinking about you and praying for you, and, giving a purpose to prayer. Like, that was cool,
Well, I mean, even just going back just a little bit, I get this question all the time in class. Mr. Abdulla, why does God, if he's so good and loving, why does he allow bad things to happen to people? And I think, Olivia, you are a real witness, a concrete witness to this suffering, as you mentioned, got you geared up. You put the helmet of faith on, right? That armor, and you drew so close to God. And now he's given you a perspective of what? Wow, this has actually strengthened me. This suffering, this sacred suffering, has drawn me closer to you, Lord.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's beautiful.
And I kind of flipped the script a little bit and felt privileged.
Yeah.
To suffer in this way, and it didn't feel like there was suffering, but it didn't feel that bad, because I was like, well, man, Jesus went through a lot more hell than I did, right? Like, and I kept thinking about what he had to go through for his passion, and I'm like, yeah, I can do it, you know, and I'll offer it up, offer it up for my kids, offer it up for other people who are suffering. It's connected me with other women who are suffering and giving them hope. And even my first time around, we have unfortunately, but we have a freshman who was just diagnosed with stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh, wow.
And I see him going through it. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
And I've talked to his mom. I'm like, I know exactly what he's going through. And I'm giving her hope. Like, look at me. I've been able to live a long life. I've had kids, so it's
pulling off the new look just perfectly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's actually quite nice to not have to do my hair in the morning. It shaves off quite a bit of time. Yeah.
Well, okay, let's get into that. I know some of our viewers are going to want to know what you do here at the school, and you spoke about, being able to be there for the students in a very special way. But go ahead and tell our viewers, what is it that you do here?
Yeah, counseling. What do they do all day? Sit and drink coffee, eat donuts.
Right.
So I head up our academic and college counseling team. We have a really important role here, just like our teachers do. We work with our students for 4 years and help guide our students in terms of their academic journey, right? We help them understand what the possibilities are for them. And it's an exciting and important role that I take a great privilege in, doing here at JSerra.
Vital role.
Yeah.
I mean, I sit down with all of the freshman parents at the beginning of the year, and they're where am I going to be in 4 years and where am I going to go? I mean, it's a huge role. You guys take on a big responsibility. For sure.
Yeah. So we love it. It's busy every day. We're just working with our students and families, and even working with teachers to really help our students thrive holistically here at JSerra, not just academically.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Yeah, so we'll talk to students about what are their interests, how can they get involved, where can they look for Christian service,
right.
What are their strengths, what are their God-given unique talents that they can really use to contribute, right?
Oh, yeah.
And be proud of.
And you guys do that? Is that through the Naviance?
Yeah, we use our college and career planning tool, Naviance. We have conversations with all of our students. We really dive deep into who they are, who they're meant to be, and trying to bring out the best in them by really acknowledging who they are as a child of God.
I
really,
love it.
you know, and so everybody is unique and loved for who they are. So,
and see, I'm so glad you said that, because that's something the kids really need to continue to remember, right? It's really not, I mean, the culture here at the school can sometimes be like the who's who, where are you going? What sweatshirt are you wearing? Right. And it's like, really, is that all that matters?
Yeah. And it's not really. There's a great book that's called Where You Go Is Not Who You'll Be. And we really focus on the fit, right? It's about who the student is, who they want to be, their values, their talents, their interests, their intelligences, who are they, right? And I love that part of my job, to help them unpack that. And this is a great, it's a really important part of development, adolescence, is really honing in on, who am I, and, what are my strengths, and what can I contribute? And there's a school for everybody. I mean, just like everybody has a different kind of personality, colleges all have different personalities.
Right,
so,
particular flavors.
Right, and so where you go is not really a guarantee of success, right? You can go to enter any named school and do really great. You can talk to really successful people and say, where did they go to school? I mean, it could have been like Hope College or Concordia or Saddleback or IBC. It doesn't matter. What matters is,
or hey, I took a gap year and then 3 years later went somewhere.
It's being the best version of yourself, right? Or even discovering, like, even the dips can have a lot of meaning and purpose in your life, to show you, your own resiliency, your own agency in your own life, right? So I love that part of my job, is really helping, and all of us do it on the team, really helping students discover, there's different paths, that there's something for them.
I love that. Yeah. Unpack, discover, grow, do this journey together, right? Because you come in freshman year. I mean, I remember when I was a freshman, you have no clue. No clue. Yeah. I mean, right? Even what college you might even want to go to. So that's awesome that you guys journey with them. What is there? I'm sure there's a broad formula. Can you help me or help our viewers understand here? What's the strategy with all these different students and personalities? Like, are you meet somebody for the first time and you're like, okay, this guy's funny, he's ambitious, he's passionate, Notre Dame, It's like, how do you?
Well, it helps that
how do you reach that fit?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's not an exact science, right? Yeah. Just like teaching, it's an art form. It's really being curious about who the student is, authentically curious,
connecting with them,
authentically interested in who they are. What are their, like, no right or wrong answers here. Like, what are you really interested in? There's nothing wrong, like, you tell me. Like, there's a reason why you have an interest. That's probably the Holy Spirit telling you this is a pathway to really, look into a little bit more.
How God made you, what's going to fulfill
you. Yeah. So I love that part. I'll just give you an example, a real life example. Just yesterday, I met with one of my seniors, and mind you, I had been gone for a good semester, so I haven't really connected all that much with my students just because I've been gone.
Sure.
But I met with the student, and he just felt like there was nothing out there for him. He's interested in game design, probably middle of the road academically, but it's okay. He's doing great, for what he can offer. And, I was really excited about this. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can do game design at St. John Paul the Great Catholic School.
Yeah.
And
right down the street.
In Escondido, right? And I'm like, this is a great school. It's small. He's not that outgoing, but that's okay. Everybody has their different personalities, right? And he loved that you have to study business there. There's a theological approach to it, and it's specific to game design. And I'm like, I was super excited for him. He was excited. He was like, I'm going to play tonight. I'm like, great, do that. So it's really understanding what's out there. And we have a lot of tools as counselors, whether online or we visit colleges, we go to conferences to meet different people, to learn about different opportunities.
Oh, nice.
And then, bringing colleges to campus. When we bring colleges to campus, we actually, all the counselors interview those college reps to really understand the nuances of each school so that we can recommend schools that would be a good fit for a student.
Oh, that's awesome. So you guys make the connection. You kind of go out into the world there and find the right colleges and make connections and then come back and say, okay, we have a deeper understanding of this school and what they're all about.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We're kind of like matchmakers. That's a little eHarmony for colleges, though.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Okay, is there any kind of advice you could give parents and students too, for who are tuning into this? What's some advice you would have to them? Right, you're coming into kind of maybe a new world here as freshmen or transfer student. It's okay. How do I connect with what should I do? What's the path here?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question.
Sorry, yeah.
Lots of things.
Putting you on the spot.
No, that's okay. Well, just say, first of all, you're a kid still, right? So you don't have to have a career in mind. You don't have to have the perfect college in mind and, check all the boxes. Enjoy your time in high school, right? Get involved, not just for the piece of paper or for the resume. Get involved in things that really mean something to you. There's so many opportunities here, right? And don't sweat the small stuff. Like if you don't take the right class or you don't get the A, you're going to be fine, right? Like that's not something to really lose sleep over. There's a place for everybody, and there's beauty in growth, right? You're not fixed,
right?
Like you can always learn from something and grow from something and be proud of yourself. If you've tried your best, be proud of that. And parents, be proud of that, right?
There's a famous MJ quote that I watch often on one of his videos, which is failure gave me strength. Yeah. And there's a lot of truth to that, right?
Absolutely.
Like there's probably more value in failing.
Oh, yeah.
Not always, but just that one time, right? It's like, okay, there's a lot of value here that I can learn from.
Absolutely. And we also say fail.
Yeah.
Allow yourselves to fail, right? Allow yourself to feel that and understand that you can be resilient and get back up again, right? I was gone from college for a year. I went back. I graduated with honors. I studied abroad. Actually, everybody took a fifth year anyway, so I graduated with all my friends, I was gone for 6 months. I wasn't the parent I wanted to be. I wasn't here working and doing what I loved, I was basically sitting and just being, finding good Netflix shows. And I had to think to myself, this is what I need to do right now for myself. Give yourself grace, and sometimes you just need to be.
Yeah. Just rest
You're
in the
loved
present.
And great that way.
Yeah. I think that's the overarching message here at the school is that kind of holistic philosophy, right? It's mind, body, soul. You can fake it till you make it, but eventually it's just going to catch up to you, right? Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, 16 years, folks. Olivia Huie with so much wisdom. Definitely reach out to her if you have any questions. She's always happy to help with a smile, too.
Absolutely. Love being here. Love working with the students. Always an open door. We actually don't have doors now, so
right, we're in cubicles.
So you could just come on in if you need anything from any of our team members. We're here to help. Yeah. Thanks, Russ.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me, Olivia.
All right.